is the What Are We Doing podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. My name's Levi McCurdy, and this is episode 93. And this week, I am so excited because it was just an impromptu text message from an impromptu Facebook post that led to today's guest. And what better way for our second episode of Pride Month than to have today's guest on. He is one of my, I think, longest friends. We met way back, way before even high school started, I believe, is how far back we go. We've been talking about having this man on the podcast for years now. Every time we see each other, whether it's casually or working together or just shooting the shit, podcast. So we are here finally now. We've done it. We've got him on, and he's here. He's one of my best friends, Josue. Give it up for him. Josue is here, everybody. Josue, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Chilling, relaxing, doing good. It's a nice day out.
Living life. It is nice out. I was talking to my buddy Paul today, and he said today, like the vibes of today felt like first day of like summer camp, wake up early, like that kind of like warmish morning, but like, you know what I mean? Like that beginning of summer. We're getting those vibes, right? I've got the tank top on. Yeah, I'm feeling the summer vibes already. So how's your so we go back, man, right? Do you remember when we first met? Do you remember the story?
I do. It was so like there was this summer school initiation thing that they did for us. And I think it was the last summer that they did that. But we met because they were also under construction, and we were one of the first students there. And we just sat at like this empty table in the middle of this construction. And got to know each other.
Yeah. So to put some of that into pretext, so Sway and I chose to not go to like our home schools, right? We went to Votech, so we went outside of the system, and in order to do that, there's testing and things involved. And I don't know, I'm not going to speak to Sway personally, but I know I still, and currently back then and still do have the reading level of a third grader. So we had to take some pre-summer courses so they knew where to put us in ninth grade, right? And so we met, essentially, I guess it was, summer school, I guess, quote unquote, we could call it. But yeah, man, we were there. The school was like still under construction. And Sway and I just sat down at the table in the middle of it all, and we're like, hey, how are we going to take this bitch over in the next 4 years? And we said, well, let's dominate in these areas. I'll be a fashion mogul. You be a magician. We'll take the entertainment by storm. And if there's any type of fashion or talent or any type of show or presentation happening, you better fucking believe it was either Josue center stage or me. Like, if it wasn't me at the top of the stairs passing out T-shirts with my name on it, it was you strutting the runway with your full fucking getup at the fashion show every year, right? Like, that was how much, like, that fashion show was like what? Like 80% of the reason you decided to go to tech? Like, as soon as you heard that was happening, that was it, right?
When I heard that we have fashion shows, it brought the idea of going to tech a lot more to center. I wanted to be a fashion designer, first of all, but knowing how much in depth we were getting into it just made it so much better. Made me want to go even more, and just like, I don't know, it also allowed me to break out more. School was like my getaway from home. So just having that like platform of expressing myself in school was pretty awesome.
And so and so was that were you a different person at home then from what we saw you at home versus like, where your home situation versus like school? Were you a whole different person?
I was a whole different person. I didn't wear my heels at home. My mom had no idea that I would show up to school in high heels. that was my way of just keeping that away from her. And I mean, the school never called my mom and saying like your son's disturbing the students because he's wearing heels.
And
They never
let's
did that.
Yeah, and let's just put some context to that. Can you just for the people listening and not everyone who already knows you, can you let us know? Let me see. I don't think I've ever asked anyone this appropriately. Can you give us what you identify as and your pronouns? Is that what we're supposed to ask now?
I really don't know. But for me, I started off identifying as gay, but recently, within the past few years, I have officially identified as gender queer. Um, I don't really, my pronouns, they depend. So I'm okay with he as an informal kind of way.
Mhm.
But if we formally know each other, you can call me she, he, whatever. You know, it's just, I feel like there has to be a respect there for anyone to even be like, hey girl, you know, like it's it's not just, you know, hey girl, like you gotta
Yeah.
know me.
Yeah. And I think okay, good. And I think that yeah, without getting too deep into the woods on all of that, I think that's something that we just like it should just it just I don't understand why it's not common sense nowadays. Like if it just you know what I mean? Like there's no like there shouldn't ever be a situation where that should be questioned. Like or
Hmm.
someone, you know what I mean? Like someone does say the wrong word or the wrong identifier. Like there shouldn't really ever be a social situation where that happens. And so yeah, no, I just think that's okay, good. Okay, so now we have now we've got that down. So but you were and this is what I love. This is what I love about our generation because of what we're seeing now in society and how people are handling the LGBTQ community, and we'll get into some of that here in a minute. But we were essentially, I don't want to say the start of it, right? Because it's been around for forever. But as far as like the societal normalization, like it's okay to talk about it. Here I am, you're wearing high heels and a wig in high school, a time where like we are supposed to be the most like sensitive versions of ourselves because of every single hormone happening. Like you're just essentially out, right? And
Yeah.
so like that's just what I keep going back to. Like every time something happens, whether it's a Target situation or this or that in the news or a Budweiser or this or whatever it is, I just always go back to the fact that we were doing all of this back in 2007, 2008, to the
Hmm.
point where we were that generation that you see in the movies, the CW show, the whatever it is, whatever you're watching, freeform, that's got, the kid who goes to school on the bus as one and shows up to school in his high heels and everything else that you're wearing. You know what I mean? So it's like that generation of the parents your mother didn't even know, right?
Hmm.
And then you said the school didn't even call, right? Because they wouldn't even have fathomed back then in 2008 to even pick up. What would they have even said? Yeah, Miss okay, so I think I don't know how to really. Your son, I think he's wearing high heels around the school. I don't know if he does this at home or not, but we just wanted to like that conversation in 2008 doesn't exist. Right, but now we
No.
have the Ron DeSantis don't say gay, we've got to out the kids in the bathroom, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like we've got that now. And so it's this very interesting form of culture that I think that we come from, our generation specifically, and seeing what we are creating and the paths that we are paving for the future generations of the community. That is very, very, very interesting to me. Very
Hmm.
interesting.
I definitely agree. The way this is all going is kind of like we've pushed against like the normalization of us because like really there's no normal way of living.
Right.
So like saying like normalizing like sexuality is kind of like saying we're going back into a mode of stagnancy, you know, like there's no reason to remain stagnant and say like, oh no, I'm offended because you're not acting normal. What is normal? There is no normal today. And it's kind of interesting to just kind of like see the younger generation claiming, like some of them do claim like they're scared, they don't attend this, they don't attend that because
Right.
they're not being represented.
Right.
And I feel like that fear is coming from the outside world being like, no, stop imposing yourself onto us.
Right.
And it's like, we're not imposing, we're literally just living. And I mean, my mom and I are in a better place now, and she knows now that I've worn heels in school,
Of
that
course.
she knows now, but she didn't know then. Um, but yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. We definitely were the ones to kind of like teeter around that, express
Right.
yourself, be
Right.
yourself.
Right. And
And
you know it's crazy too. I don't ever think now. I'm sure there was probably like a subset of our peers, but obviously we know there were. But I don't ever think too that like, you know, in society, like if we see a TikTok, did you know the whole Budweiser controversy? I thought they actually printed like a full run of those cans. Did you know they only printed a thing of cans for Dylan? Like they only gave him that case of cans. Like I thought these cans, these special design cans that everyone's freaking out about, I thought you could buy those in stores and that wasn't the case. And because literally the whole controversy, because I don't buy it, right? I don't buy the fucking beer. I don't know what's on the cans. I assumed that what happened was Bud Light made this can for the TikToker, right? Transgender Dylan Mulvaney, I believe, right? And so they put they put their face on the can, and then they sent it to them, and then they made a TikTok, and that was it. I thought they sent cans out to, you know, Target, wine and spirits. You could buy it at the distributor. You could get their face on the can at your grocery store to buy in for your fridge. No.
yeah,
We
no.
literally made 1 6-pack for one person to make a TikTok, and that's what the whole controversy was about. One can with one TikTok, and that's what the entire country is about. And yet you step foot into a high school full of 500 people that come from all walks of life and every single freaking melting pot. And yeah, obviously whoever did is jackasses, but like not one person really has anything to say about the dude walking down the hall in heels. It's just, oh, hey, Sway. Hey,
Yeah.
what's up, buddy? Where you going? Oh, you doing the thing? You're going, I'm skipping. Oh, I'm coming with you. Like what you know what I mean? Oh, cool. Like great. Sway's here today. Awesome. Let's go hang out with him. Like that's all it was. It wasn't everyone's up in arms. The fucking, oh, the guy's got heels on again. Holy shit. Like, you know, we didn't fucking beat you down in the halls because you had your fucking heels and wig on. Like, it's just what happened? You know, like it
Yeah,
just,
it's crazy. Like everything that is happening, you know, like you have Harry Styles, who's kind of just like opening more up of this world of gender fluidity and like expressing himself
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
just like not really. The thing is that we don't really need to we don't need to identify, but in this society, we feel that we need to identify.
Right.
And like you have Harry Styles who was pushing gender fluidity. I mean, before him, you had Bowie, you had Prince. You know, there's always been artists that have been pushing the boundary of what it is that we think is masculine.
Mm-hmm.
Because as humans, we are much more than masculinity and femininity.
Now
And
is it in
what
Is Harry Styles straight? Is he?
he he doesn't really identify. He says he doesn't put a name on it.
Got it.
And I mean, if you were a Harry Styles fan and you heard the song Medicine, which he has not released
Uh,
on any record, but if you hear the song Medicine,
uh-huh.
Medicine to him is, of course, a men's spunk. So, I mean, you can only imagine
But does
he
it
definitely teeters with both.
isn't he also a little obsessed with the watermelon sugar? I mean,
Yeah, he's obsessed with the watermelon sugar and he also needs his medicine.
So what you're saying is a healthy dose of both, balanced scale, balanced diet. It's, everyone
Yeah.
could use a little bit. Okay. Got it. No.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. And speaking of, let's jump into that. Speaking of celebrities that represent the culture, I want your full breakdown of 2022/2023 on tour now, Sam Smith.
Um,
Are we a fan?
I feel like he's his most authentic self right now.
Okay.
I listened to the album. At first listen, I was like, I thought this was gonna be more more like oomph into it because his first single was
Body
Unholy.
shop. That we're getting.
Yeah. But I really feel like he's just more in his skin.
Okay.
In a sense that he's talking about things that you wouldn't have maybe felt comfortable in talking to people about before. And there's this one part in the album where he has like this section talking about how like it's it's always been difficult and like when you're hurting that you can't go to your brother or sister and let them know that you're hurting because like the love of your life is the same sex. And so like now it's kind of like we're mixing in this pot of like what's what should be represented and what shouldn't be represented, and he's creating a space safe for the fans that have been there with him and are new to him and are goring with him. There is a stark contrast, but I felt like the moment that he came out as he was and like stated that his pronouns were they and them and all that, he kind of just became more of himself. Um, there's a lot of there's a lot of Twitter chatter of how like he was, the sweet artist that he was then, and now he's part of this agenda or whatever. And I'm like, there is no agenda. There have been men in heels and fishnets and dresses like since the beginning of time, but it's only now that people are feeling comfortable in doing so.
Yeah.
And so because they feel comfortable, people are like, oh, I don't think I'm comfortable.
Where is there maybe, and this is just an off the wall question because I'm curious. There seems to be a really big stink around drag shows. Like this whole, like, I don't know, I think like if like we can't do drag shows for kids anymore in certain states or something, which I don't understand the whole thing, but right, because has the Rocky Horror Picture Show not been a thing for the last like 80 years? And now all of a sudden that drag shows are shooting our children on a slide straight to hell. As soon as it's straight into a fiery burning pit. And if a drag queen at a brunch or anywhere else on the planet attempts to educate your child or is in the vicinity, it's just sorry. And then we just push them and then it's a slide right to hell. It's just why? Yeah. I'm very curious to see, Sway, where the next few years take us in the whole journey and all of that. And you said something earlier that I was talking to my buddy Paul about the other day. You said, you said what is normal, right, anymore, and we were talking, and maybe not along the lines of the LGBTQ plus community, but in the sense of like, my son who has autism, right, and so it's every day, like it gets kind of better, right? In the sense of like, before autism was like, holy fucking shit, put him in a straitjacket, lock him in a closet. That shit's fucking weird. Put the kid, just tell him to go outside. He's fine. Don't worry about. And now it's like there's fucking program, and it's a whole thing. Like literally has every resource he could possibly ever fucking need in his life. And so, and like now, even with that and the knowledge that comes with it, you learn that people like, love him or hate him, politics aside, like Elon Musk is a fucking billionaire. He also has Asperger's, which is a form of autism and neurodivergent and the whole fucking thing, right? So it's like, okay, great. And then like you look at all the other case studies and the 30 and 40-year-olds who have the autism and the everything else, they're fucking geniuses. They might not be able to have a 3-hour-long podcast conversation with someone because they don't know how to take social cues. But if you put them in the room with a book and a lab and chemicals and fucking numbers, they can tell you exactly what it is down to the decimal fucking point. So that, I believe, in my opinion, and probably hopefully will reign true with your community as well, is that, and I think, not sure how much AI is going to have a role in this, whatever. I like to think it will, but it may be Neuralink, but it's a story for another day. I think in 5 accelerated, but maybe 10 to 15 years, anyone who's not autistic will need like the short bus, the special class, the special attention, and the normal class and the whatever, the average, the people of society will be all autistic. And I think those roles are about to, you know what I mean? I think those roles are about to flip, and we're going to see really what that definition will become. And not even, I mean, obviously it will be ever changing, but like for the next generation and just like that mass societal shift of like gender and identity and neurological thinking, and like if we're all fucking inside on Apple Vision Pro goggles, it doesn't matter if I'm autistic and need social cues anyways, because you're not leaving the house. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, we're all gonna have an AI avatar of ourselves, like fucking Jarvis. Like, the thing is Jarvis. Like, people can send you a 3D model via iChat on your iPhone, and you can take your goggles and pluck it down and put it on the desk and spin it around. And if that's not fucking Iron Man, here we are. Like, pair Apple Vision Pro with Neuralink with it's you know what I mean? So like that, I think I know that's like a super, super deep rabbit hole, but like, I feel like that's where it's probably gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, mental health in itself is kind of becoming.
Oh, isn't it fantastic?
Yeah, it's becoming more of a thing that we talk about, and it's great to be in this space where we can talk about it, because for so long, there's always been like this hush talk about, oh, you're going to therapy. Oh, you got to take care of this. Oh, you could be crazy. You know, it's always been like this crazy like idea that people are crazy.
Right.
And it's now at a point where we don't look at them as crazy. We look at them as people who are just going through it more than the average person is.
Right. Right.
And like for me I just got my diagnosis for being bipolar. And I wish I would have known sooner, but now it's kind of just like, okay, now I understand where my anxiety was coming from. Now I understand how to approach this situation a different way, and knowing that it's not going to create more stress on me. Yeah. Mental health is definitely there, and it's also a part of like our community, considering that, you know, like suicidal rates can definitely happen
Right.
And people just don't think about that. They think, oh, let's demonize them. That's it. That's what they are. They're demons. They're heathens. They're little like bats with wings, just wanting to suck the blood off of our children. And like, this is not what we are. Um, but it's literally like the demonization of like the community is at a peak right now that I'm kind of like concerned. And I mean, yeah, it's a subgroup of people,
Yeah.
but that subgroup just seems to be getting a little bit louder and seems to be spreading a little bit further. And it's kind of like just wait, because we're not telling you you don't have a right to have your opinion, but you're literally saying that this person can't exist. Like, essentially, you are saying that this person can't just step out of their house
It's
being who they are, and suddenly you think they're gay. Like,
it's
that's
the
my
it's
situation.
it's the it's the it's the it's the it's the it's the life versus choice argument, right? I just saw
Yeah.
the video on TikTok again, and it was like it was some guy, whoever, interviewing, I believe she was a Republican, whatever, I don't know. And he said, how do you feel about, the women's rights bill? She said, oh, I'm glad they blocked it. It shouldn't be up to them. The doctor, they need to have the babies. So like completely against choice and just, pro-life all the way. And then, they asked, so what do you think about the COVID-19 vaccine? Well, I have it, and I think some people should get it, some people shouldn't. I think people should have the right to do with their bodies what they want when it comes to the vaccine. And if what they put in and take out of their bodies, I think, is up to them. And I think people should have that right when it comes to deciding on what they do, with when it comes in and out of their body. And they're like, oh, okay, so you're pro-choice when it comes to women's rights then. And it's just like, you know what I mean? They're like pro versus, and it's just like, there's no fighting it. There's no winning. It's just, it has to be common sense. And that's, we weed out those people. And that's why, we go from things like high school to now, 30 years old, where we only have 1 to 1.3 friends ever. And it's like, because everyone else is just kind of a little crazy when you actually get to know who they are and what they're about and like their belief system. And it's like, oh, you think that? Cool. I'm going to go over here because like if I had this on around you, it would be a problem. Like kind of thing, just like,
Mm-hmm.
and then especially when it just, hits home with the family, with the sister. And it's certainly something that we, I think we're gonna definitely see change even more, even more in the next few years.
No, for sure. Because I don't see us standing for any of this.
Yeah.
I don't really see us like I don't really see this hurting our progress, but
Right.
it looks like it is. It's just we got to make it through this. Protests have been happening since like the get-go.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if you know this. I don't even know if I knew this, but the first man to be known as a drag queen was like in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy had balls for like his friends and community to just gather and have a good time in the late 1800s.
Right. Right. Right.
So like this hasn't been new.
Right.
They,
Well,
they had protests. Like,
But sorry, let's just be honest. Like let's just be honest with ourselves. The people at the top who are against the community are leaving their wives at night to go hook up with men in hotel rooms. So it's just like it's always been in the society. It's just people have admitted it a lot more over the years, right?
mhm.
And so it's just, I think, yeah, man, it's interesting. So Pride Month, any fun plans for Pride Month?
Um,
parades attendance?
Unfortunately, I work weekends, and I already apparently missed the 3-day bash that they had in Philly. So that one's out the window.
No one lets you know, huh?
Yeah, and I mean,
Have
York
you?
had something, but I worked and I got out late, and by the time I would have gone out, I would have had to turn back around for work the next day.
Have you ever been to like any of the big like New York City ones or any like?
No, I've wanted to go to New York City several times, but it always just tends to be costly.
Mm,
Um, I've wanted to go to Baltimore's. I've heard theirs have been pretty great. Um, but I've only been so like Philly has this Outfest in October
mm,
for like the silence thing for Out Month or
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
to kind of like pay homage to those that have lost their lives.
Yep.
Um, Philly has like a big Outfest day there, and I usually go there because Outfest tends to be a lot bigger and better than the Pride Festival in
Mm,
the summer, which you kind of figure, Pride would kind of be better, but no, Outfest is like a big block party.
right. Right.
Um, but those, I haven't really gone to anything in the past couple of years, of course, due to COVID and all that. And funny enough, in Philly for a couple of years there, things kind of went sour because the organizers of Pride were called out for
Controversy.
controversies and racism.
What?
Yep, they were called out for racism against the Latin and
Wow.
Black communities
Oh,
within
wow.
the.
Well, listen, hey, you know
Yep.
what? Honestly, I'm glad you said that because honestly, that's a point. That's a point to make. Just because you're, gay doesn't mean you're not racist.
Yep.
That's actually a good point. It's actually a good point because I would assume, right? You would assume out of everything that the LGBTQAI plus, is that it now? Is there more? There might be
Hmm.
more. So, you know what I mean? Everything that covers, you would think racism would fall under the list somewhere, but it doesn't. And so wow. So the organizer of Philly Pride was busted for being racist.
Yep.
That's kind of ironic because of about half of the shit that like he's supposed to stand for.
Yep. Yep. It does not go away
Right,
when
right.
you join the gay community.
Mm.
And it's something that the gay community even like fights against because um it's just what it was. Like the first drag queen was a Black man.
Right.
And voguing was a Black and Latin community activity.
Okay.
Um so you always have like these people coming together because they've been oppressed, they've been pushed against, they've been silenced. And so to even see how they've come out of this and there still be racism in this community is kind of like, well, why did we have Paris is Burning?
Well,
Why did we have these
it's
movies to
it's
kind of show this?
right, right. And boy, I love it. I love it. We're hitting every hard-hitting topic. Race, gender, politics. We're hitting them all on this episode. Boom, boom, boom. But I mean, I get it, bro. And it's like again, like you're like one of my oldest friends and you're ticking all the boxes. Like you've got the ethnicity, you've got the culture, you got all the boxes ticked, and it's like, hey man, you've been in my life for so many. It's like, what? Wait, what? Why? How? What's wrong? People are racist for what? What's the issue? Because why? He literally lives right beside you. Do you understand that means like you make the same money, you're literally the same person in the eyes of literally every entity ever? And like why are you mad at what? You're right. What does that mean? Like I don't even know what it means to be like right. Like yeah, sure, I make jokes. I'll make jokes, you know, privately, publicly, whatever. I know what's appropriate and when to say it. But like, it's, you know, like, I just don't understand how that can be immoral. I understand how like things can be said and maybe like, you know, I might cross the line and like we have to have an apology and a heart to heart later or something. Never happened. But like if it would, so be it. But like, you know, it just I don't understand. Like, you mean you're what? You're raised? Like you said what? Like I don't get it. Like you wanna what? There's literally, I swear to God, my son's school, every time we have to drop him off because the street's a one way, we go past this house, it's like 2 doors down. The house is covered in flags, signs, stickers, posters. I'll send you a photo later. Covered. You can't see any of the house. That's how covered it is. Every single one is along the lines of fuck Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, fuck Joe Biden, Trump 24, but you know, all that shit covered. And I'm like, hey, you're what? What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, what are we doing? Like, let's just... Like, I don't understand. Like, I get it. It's how you're raised. It's where you're from. It's your parents. It's brought down by generation, and it's up to new ones to break it and do all this. And, like, it happens. And we're slowly getting there. Will I think, oh, boy, you know, obviously it's probably an issue that'll never be resolved. But, like, here we are, you know, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you claim to be a Swiftie, huh? All right. Well, let's test your loyalty. Are you going to the Eras tour? Did you get
don't
tickets
have
to
money.
the Eras tour?
I did not get a link for it. I wished I got a link. I would have gone broke for her. I literally would not have paid rent.
So I think
no.
my sister-in-law had like the double MasterCard pre super VIP order wait list before like the first, then 8 other tiers could get whatever access. I don't know. She was on there for 5 hours. Nothing. Like it, you know what I mean? It just, you couldn't, no. I mean, and even if you did get through, I think they were saying the minimum price was like $1,400 for like, you know, like the fee. Like that was just the fee, and then you still had to pay for the ticket. You know, it was just ridiculous. And no, I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I don't think. I don't know. I only know a few people who have gone or are going or did go. I guess in Philly this last weekend.
Same.
Did you know?
I was like, y'all are losers.
Now, Sway, listen to me, Sway. Be honest with me right now. Be honest with me right now. What are you the type of person to stand outside of the venue to hear the concert?
No. But if I was in Philly, I would have. That was a party.
Well, that's what I'm asking. So the answer is yes. Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. Dude, I mean, there was more people outside of the stadium, I think, than there were inside who actually bought the tickets in the Philly shows. I mean, it's crazy. So,
and actually, speaking of Philly had like a whole weekend thing. My cousin told me like every restaurant, every bar had a Taylor Swift menu.
So stupid. It's stupid.
Every single one.
Hey, listen, when did she become what I thought? Listen, she's got Love Story, Shake It Off, and like that one song with Kendrick Lamar. When did she become a thing? I apologize to the Swifties, but when did it become a multi-billion-dollar, when did this happen? And why? Okay. All right, here's your next quiz question. The show is 3 hours long. Do you do your very best to hydrate and relieve yourself before the show so you're good for 3 hours? Do you pick the one version of that Taylor's version song that she does that's instead of 5 minutes, it's like the 15-minute version for some reason, and so she has a song that's 15 minutes and you just skip that one to go to the bathroom? Or C, do you wear an adult diaper and just rock it out for 3 hours with Taylor Swift?
I am good at holding my pee. So like if I'm drinking during the show, I'll hold it until the very end. And I
Okay.
am zooming to that bathroom at the end.
Okay. All right. All right. Some Taylor Swift fans are wearing adult diapers to the concert. There's a TikTok user. Some fans with special circumstances, like those who might be pregnant. Well, those who are pregnant are doing it as well. It looks like, but there's a TikTok telling you which ones are best and which ones to buy. Would you?
No.
What celebrity? Okay, okay. Here we go. Final tour ever. 6-hour show. You got to piss real bad. Front row, Britney Spears. You've got an adult diaper on, don't you?
Oh, geez, 6 hours. Oh God.
She plays. It's Brit. Listen, okay. And we'll get into her in 1 minute. It's Britney's. Here's the situation. Britney's dropping whatever. She drops a book. Maybe in a few years we get another album. Everything's good. Okay. Maybe she pops out another kid. Who knows? And then she's like, all right, this is it. I'm done. And she does one more show, not a tour, a show. And I say, you know what? This is it. We're going. I get me and you front row tickets. And she does every song from every fucking album from start to finish. She's telling stories in between. It's literally a live Britney discography because she's never going to do it again. We got to rock some diapers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll rock a diaper. Yeah. I'll be that Grey's Anatomy episode when Baby Gray had to stand in a diaper for that procedure. Yeah. I'll
Lexi, that's right. That's right. Lexi. Oh,
yep, I'll
man.
pull a Lexi Gray.
Wait a minute. Oh, you're a great. Okay, you want to talk Grey's Anatomy real quick? Okay, where are you on the Grey's Anatomy? Like, how far are you up to date, or are you?
I'm up to date. I finished the current season, and I was like, "Screw this! I'm starting over."
Oh no, wait, stop. You've seen episode 1 all the way up to this final episode.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So Megs and I, we've started from the beginning, and we've made it up until I think like season like 14 or 15. I think like when it stopped on Netflix, we went all the way to the end of Netflix like a few years ago. So probably around then. And so then we vowed that once they finally end the show, we'll start over one more time and then do it the whole fucking way. Because we've tried to go back again to start over to catch up to the very beginning, and we're just like, we kind of almost want to kill ourselves every time. It is such a long and emotional, worst death experience for you. Denny Duquette or Derek Shepherd?
Oh my gosh. It would have to be Denny Duquette, because Derek Shepherd was kind of like, it was coming, but Denny Duquette was like, that was hard. Yeah. That was hard to see Izzy go through that, and like, it was hard.
Denny's dead. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
And he was one of my favorite actors too, because he's in P.S. I Love You.
Oh, Jeffrey
and
D.
that's my favorite movie. And so like,
yeah, he's a heartthrob. I get it. Yeah, Denny. Listen, I love the
and
Denny.
DeLuca's death was also hard for me.
DeLuca.
I don't think you might have seen that.
I think DeLuca. I think we ended when DeLuca was like his intern. Like when he was an intern, I think is where we ended. And listen, I see the articles, I see the headlines, so I know of like some things and names that have happened and deaths and whatever. Like I obviously know, Gray's gone now. And she came back, right? Like spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but like she's back. Is she back now?
From what I saw, she was back in the episodes. Like she was back and kind of like, she's been through so many near-death experiences. It's crazy. Again,
right. Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. They can't just listen. I think how do you think they should? Do you have an ending for the show? Have you like created one in your mind? Do you have or what
I
you would
feel like an
want to
ending would
happen?
be Gray's final death.
You
Like
think it ends with her dying?
they've used it so many times.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't know, maybe not because they've used it so many times.
Right.
Um, she it might end with maybe like her daughter becoming the next
Uh-huh.
doctor.
Keep it going. Yes.
You know,
So
like
it's
because she does
the
have a very smart daughter. So like, I feel like her daughter would be the next Gray to become
yes.
a general
Yes.
surgeon.
Yes. It ends my I if it doesn't, I've said it dozens of times on this podcast, if it doesn't end this way, I'll fucking riot. I swear to God, Shonda Rhimes, I'll come, I'll fucking figure it out, I'll fucking riot. I swear to God. If it doesn't end this way, it'll be the worst show in history. It has to be it'll be established by that time that Grace, one of the Shepherd children, is a surgeon, and it will end with a shot down of the table of old 80, 70-year-old Gray on the table unconscious, and it zooms up to her daughter, and they're doing some like experimental Alzheimer's surgery to one last time save their mom's life, and she'll say it's a great day to save lives, and then black.
That would actually be a banging episode and banging. That would wrap it up real well for me, honestly.
And I mean, with whatever else, I mean, listen, the fact, oh, maybe you can explain. Maybe you can explain because with your, your gay community and tendency. I mean, I know you. I've seen sides of Sway. I've seen the I'm country, I'll cut you bitch side of Sway. I've seen the sensitive. I've seen the angry. I've seen the aggressive. What's with the whole I'm gonna borderline bruise your face every time I kiss you aggressiveness of Owen Hunt? Can you explain that? Is that just an over testosterone man? Does he just need to like work out, go to yoga? Because every time Owen Hunt goes to kiss somebody, it looks like he's gonna ram his hand through their face. Like it is an aggressive moment when Owen Hunt kisses you, right? Am I right or
It
wrong?
literally is.
Am I right or wrong? You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah. Like, um,
There's some pent up emotion, I think there's just some pent up, like, you know,
yeah, and I mean, it definitely goes with his character.
of course.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. The way he just like kisses is just like he's sucking their soul. Um, no, I mean it's kind of hot though, but
Of
no.
course, of course, of course, of course, of course, of course. One character that you could bring back to the series forever as a regular that has left, who would it be? I mean,
Um,
we're talking Lexi, we're talking George, we're talking Christina, Burke, Shepard. Who
I
else is
honestly
gone?
think Christina. I'm
Yeah.
always constantly thinking like Christina would be.
So I loved the fact that they like what correct me if I'm wrong, but the way they wrapped up her story was Burke left and then he went off to like Norway because everything's like $1 there. So he opened up a hospital for like $30 and had the best of the best equipment over there. And then she went to work for him because he was like, yeah, I'm out because I'm married and I'm kind of done. And you can have this like literal human brain to do whatever research you want. And so she got this banging ass multi-billion-dollar hospital. So I think that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think they should have, and obviously contract, whatever, politics of making a show, but it would be cool if like whenever the doctors of Seattle Grace are in that like it's an impossible situation, like it would be dope if like they just showed a shot of a helicopter landing on the roof and then boom, Christina Yang walks into the fucking room and she's like, what is it? A brain thing? Oh, words, slice, 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 done. I'm out of here, guys. Love you, miss you, bye. Kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that could have
The,
been
yeah, I feel like that could happen. They mention her a lot
right.
enough so that they could do that.
Okay.
So I think they're just missing an opportunity there.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
think.
if it wasn't Christina, it would have to be George. That was another one that like broke
Man,
my heart.
I mean, the way they did it. I mean, so you know the like the behind the scenes, like why like he left and the whole situation.
I I feel
Him,
like I researched, but I don't remember.
the guy, the actors, George and Burke. He like I think George, the guy who played George, I'm pretty sure is gay, and
Yeah.
Burke like was like teasing him on set, like calling him, you know, the F word and all that, everything, you know, whatever. And so he was like, "Yeah, I'm out of here. I gotta go." And so they were like, "Okay, boom, you're dead," and then that was it. So it was like a behind the scenes
Geez,
anti-gay
that
thing. Yeah,
sucks because
yeah.
like, and I mean, it was a shitty like episode too because
Mhm.
like one moment
It was
he's
quick,
good,
right?
he's fine. The next moment he's signed up to go to the army and he
Right,
leaves and gets hit by a truck.
right.
Like what?
Right, right. And then when we were watching the episode for the first time, Megs and I were just I was like, "Oh, wait, that's George." And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, he's dead?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, that was 5 minutes?" Like, "Okay, great. Cool." And then we just move on. We move right along.
Yeah.
We move right along. Yeah, he didn't get the justice he deserved. I mean, and then here's the bit, and then but also too, it was just wasn't it the silly chick who like just didn't do the X-rays for Shepard that would have saved his life? Like,
Yeah. That too. But there was also like shade between Gray and Shepard.
true.
Patrick Dempsey was getting paid more than Gray was.
Uh,
And it got into this, you know, financial thing, like because in the beginning, yeah, like Patrick Dempsey
right,
was the
right,
name
right.
that Grey's Anatomy was pulling off of.
Yep.
But then, of course, everybody watching Grey's Anatomy fell in love with Grey because what's the show called? Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
um, so when they when they figured that out, you know, they kind of just did that episode and like just created, you know, ending his contract. And I honestly, I feel like Shepard should have come back instead of just dying. Like he should have just like left her
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
gave him a possibility that he could have came back, you know, and been the great love of her life.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
it was kind of like either I get paid more or he does. And
It's so
it was
silly,
like,
right? It's so silly, so silly, so silly, so silly. All right. So last thing, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Where are we at here? Some people, rumors in the Twitter sphere. Uh, apparently, Britney's got to be locked back up. We got to get a new conservatorship, and I'm thinking it needs to happen like tomorrow. I'm thinking it's not good for her to be out and about the way she is, Sway.
I don't know. I think she's fine. I think she's good. She's
No,
living her life.
no, so listen, this is what I've discovered about this whole thing is that there's an underground society of that I think that you're a part of running, that of Britney fans, and that if there is one thing said about it, they will find you and they will correct you. And so it's interesting to me. Now the biggest now just let's I need your help here to break it down, because the biggest misconception is these Instagram videos. And we can't deny the fact that her half naked on screen, a lot of times naked, you know, going is a little weird. And I know, and the argument is that she's always been a little weird. But you know, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just coming from the other side. I don't know what side I'm on yet, and I need your help. I need you to bring me over to maybe this, you know?
Yeah, no. So like, I feel like Britney knows exactly what it is that she's doing.
Okay.
Um, she has always been like you said, like she's always been like this goofy like girl behind the scenes,
Right.
and she hasn't had the chance to honestly like express that goofy side by doing comedy movies. I feel like if we would have gotten to know her more in like comedy movies and stuff like that, we wouldn't see her like the way that we're seeing her now. But of
Okay.
course, you
What?
have the team that kind of like
Okay. And because of the conservatorship, she wasn't allowed to do said movies, right? I'm assuming.
I
Okay.
mean, they blocked a lot of projects for her. I'm pretty
What?
sure she would have loved to have done
Who?
things.
What role would you put her in? I would love to know what move, like a Legally Blonde or like a Cinderella story, like where who what movie would you replace an actor with Britney Spears?
Um, what movie? What movie? Uh, I
Or
would have put
like or
her
like
in like one of those
or like a
in like
Katherine
Cameron Diaz. So
Heigl.
like in Cameron Diaz movie, what was it? What to Expect?
Uh-huh.
Um, I feel like she could have been in that movie.
Okay.
Not replacing Cameron Diaz, but she could have been a character that Cameron Diaz like
Uh-huh.
interacted with in that
There's
movie.
a real great Cameron Diaz movie that Megs and I watch. Honestly, that I think Brittany could probably replace maybe Kate Hudson, maybe his character. It's called The Other Woman. Have you ever seen?
Oh yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So they just go around picking up like the husband's mistresses. Like Brittany could be one of the mistresses alongside Cameron Diaz. And then there's this real weird silent emotional scene where they all just kind of slow-mo walk onto the beach at like 6 a.m. and just sit beside each other. I could see Brittany doing one of those slow-mo weird dress walks and sitting down beside Cameron Diaz on the beach. That's a good, I like that. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, Britney in comedy movies. Has she mentioned that since being released of the conservatorship that that's something she's exploring or?
She hasn't mentioned it since the ending of the conservatorship. I know that she's mentioned it like before it ended, and there's been like kind of talks of like before of her like doing like a movie and getting her feet wet more in the
Yeah,
film industry.
yeah.
Um, but right now I don't really even think that's in her mindset right now. I think her mind right now is like, I'm gonna live my life. um is she affected by everything that she's been going through?
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, she there's definitely a change in her voice. Like she does speak as she speaks, but there's a nervousness there
Okay.
still. And you just know that that's like if an effect of what she's gone
Gone through.
through.
So then let me ask, that leads me to my next question, everything that she's gone through, because it seems like now, and the more I dig into this and the more I try to understand it, and hopefully you can bring some of this to light, because I know you're so versed on this. Um, when my understanding as of like a year ago, and obviously I've now done my research and some things have happened and I have some follow-up questions here, but it was my understanding that like, and I get some of my news, and some of the things that have happened from that we talked about on this podcast from like things like TMZ. And so, when we see these stories that come out about paparazzi or camera being in Britney and her husband's face in a restaurant, and it caused him to storm out, and now they're getting a divorce, and this and that and this and that. I'm like, oh shit. Britney Spears was in a restaurant, and now her and her new husband are getting a divorce. Holy shit. It's crazy. Maybe she shouldn't have been let go. Now she's getting a divorce. What's this going to do? Sway needs to know. Holy shit, what's going on with Britney? And then literally 24 hours goes by, and it's like someone just asked for an autograph, and her husband went to the car to get a pen, and that's what it was. And then they like finished their meal and left peacefully. And it's like, so where I just wonder how, and then we're also led to believe by things like Perez Hilton and TMZ and all these places, which obviously we know if you actually look at it, it's just fucking scumlord clickbait. Like, it's my podcast is fucking clickbait 99% of the time. Like, I know I'm in the same fucking boat as TMZ, but I acknowledge it. You know, like I know, like when I say, holy shit, Britney's got a gun, like she doesn't actually fucking have a gun. You know, there's a disclaimer at the bottom of every fucking episode that says everything I fucking say is just for entertainment purposes. Like, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it's just like, but when TMZ says, holy shit, Britney's got a gun, they actually, like, we're actually to fucking believe. And then there's a photo and we see her with a fucking physical gun in her hand. And it's like, wait, Britney, why does Britney have a gun? You know what I mean? Like, it's like that kind of story that just, I mean, obviously, and we can get into my opinions. And I honestly think in the next 5 to 10 years, because of AI, the internet's going to be completely unusable. And like my child and potentially your future children will not use the internet. And like people who do will be the weird ones because of how flooded it is with misinformation and just like AI written articles about Britney Spears every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just crazy that we have these organizations like TMZ who will literally the actual news, the factual, quotable, this is literally what happened. Biden fell down, and that's what they said. That's what it says. Biden fell down. He fell down. TMZ.com. That's the news. And then every other article, they'll just sprinkle in Britney's got a gun. And it's like, it's like there's no way for us to know, there's no way for us to tell. We then have to rely on people like you, her community, her fans, the actual people. And like, you know, I'm sure there's going to be a subset of the internet just coming out like, well, who the fuck is this Sway guy? How does he know Britney's good and like she's chilling and doing this and doing that? And it's like, you know, I think it's I would love your opinion. Do you have you go to TMZ for your news always?
I do not. I've honestly stopped following TMZ since she shaved her head. I haven't been a TMZ fan
Really?
since before K-Fed. I just TMZ, like I've watched their things, you know, I've watched their
How
episodes.
much
I
money
mean,
how much
they're
money
not
does
always
it's how
they're not
much
always
right.
false.
I mean, how much money does K-Fed and Jamie Spears make off of TMZ? You know, like how like
I'm
it's
pretty
like
sure like thousands.
right. Yeah, it's
Pretty sure it has to be
there's
thousands.
got to be a bag incentive there somewhere. Like when they do write these articles, there's details that like they shouldn't know. So someone's talking.
Yeah,
Someone's talking to
someone's talking
TMZ.
to them.
Yeah,
And
right.
it
And
has
it's
to be the dad. It
right,
has to be someone close to
right,
K-Fed. I
right,
mean, the lawyer is always spewing
right.
stupid shit.
How do we feel about the new husband? Is he trustworthy? Are we okay with the new guy, or is it going to be another K-Fed situation?
I feel like Sam is good for her.
Mm.
There's a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's always here and there doing his stuff and all that,"
And
and it's like, okay, but Brittany doesn't want to go. Like, if Brittany doesn't
right.
want to go, she's a grown woman. She doesn't want to
Mm.
go. She's not gonna go.
And who is he? Is he an actor? Is he a celebrity? Is he a singer? Is he a nobody? I don't know who he.
No, so I guess when he got casted into her music video, during that time, he was kind of like a motivational, like fitness
Okay.
kind of person.
Okay.
Because that's kind of what you see like on his Instagram
Got it.
before he kind of met
So
Britney was like
he's like
fitness.
a life coach, fitness coach.
Yeah, it was like a
He's
life coach
just
fitness
he's an LA
kind of
guy.
thing.
Yeah, just a guy from LA.
Yeah. Um, but no, I feel like he doesn't speak on things as much as maybe K-Fed would have, or as much
Mm,
as like her dad has either turned down things or confirmed things, or if you know, like said whatever piece he had to say.
yeah.
Um, he seems to come forward whenever like he feels comfortable, or you know, he has discussed it with Brittany. Um, I feel like if there's any tidbits that may have been leaked to TMZ by
Mm,
Sam,
mm.
Brittany approved those.
Oh,
Um,
right. Well, right, because we know, I mean, I think they said like every celebrity, every time they're at dinner, like they tell the paparazzi. Like anytime the paparazzi shows up, it's because the celebrities told them they were coming. Like
yeah,
it's
I
just a
mean,
thing. Like they tell their managers, they tell their
yeah,
people where they're going to be so they can get the exposure, whatever.
yeah. I
And
mean,
it's an article every time, right?
why does Rihanna dress up?
Mm.
Why would she dress up the way
Whew.
that she dresses up just to go out and eat if she's not going to get photographed?
Right. Phew. Yeah. And well, I mean, Queen should be photographed everywhere
I
she
mean,
goes.
yeah, she should be photographed at
Let's
every single
just,
point of the month. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Do you see those, unreleased, first baby maternity photos
yeah,
from her?
yeah. I was like, yeah, yeah, rub on your titties. That's right. I was like, yep, rub those titties. I love
So,
that photo.
okay. So Britney's good. Britney's good right now. Is there anything else? What else can you give us on Britney? What's coming? Is there new music coming? Is there a book coming? I know there's. So is there a documentary? Am I to understand? Is there a documentary coming from her? Or was the documentary that came out the TMZ one? I could have sworn I heard she was releasing a tell-all documentary and that everyone was fucking shaken because
Well,
they weren't sure
I
what she was gonna fucking
I think
like. Where's the Oprah interview? You know what I mean?
I feel like it's gonna be a book. I
Okay.
feel like if she does um a documentary, it would be kind of like for the record ish.
Right.
But
Mm.
of course with like her lens. Um and more of like her story to be told because I feel like for the record was like her setting things straight.
Hmm.
But also there was still control there from like her dad and the conservatorship and all that.
Right.
But I feel like the tell-all book is creating a lot of, things.
Buzz.
It's been delayed a lot.
Okay.
Apparently, she has shared her frustration and the fact that people are coming forward trying to slow it down and stop it and stuff. And she doesn't want to minimize it any more than it already has been edited because she wants her truth out there.
Yeah.
And they say it could come by the end of the year,
Okay.
but it could again be pushed to next year.
Okay.
I hope that we do get the book at some point soon because
Yeah.
I need something new to read. Currently reading Paris Hilton's book, so
She is a very fun story, isn't she? That whole like now and so tell me about her. Am I correct to assume she was like her whole like Paris and Nicole like party girl days? Was that a persona or was that real? What
no, that was a full-on persona.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Yeah. And like she was just a normal person behind it
Yeah, who
all. She
has
wasn't
cleaned,
like
who had did her laundry before, who,
right, right, right.
she's done all those things that
Yeah.
she acted like she didn't do on the show.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
it was funny to even hear her say, like, when I was locked up in these places, like I did all these things and I put on a show for the show to act like I didn't do these things.
Yeah.
But I have worked in my life. I have
Right.
been on my knees cleaning and stuff like that. Like she has run away from these facilities. Like she's been through it.
Right.
And we were given a persona and it's it's also again touching base in like mental health because like she had to create this
Uh-huh. Right. Whole
persona, this
different
world
person. Right.
to kind of
Right.
step away from the darkness
Right.
that she was experiencing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, like we're even seeing that now. I mean, my buddy just sent me a clip of it was a clip of Tila Tequila, who was at some Spanish woman's house baptizing her children. For whatever reason, that statement's true. It just came out of my mouth. I'll say it again. Tila Tequila was at some Spanish woman's house baptizing her children. Now, and you can assume that this probably isn't her first baptism. Tila Tequila has gone to other people's houses and baptized children and people, adults, I'm sure. And the video was of like the grandmother who I guess lived across the street who was like, no, they're not bringing she thought obviously Tila Tequila with the fake tits and the tattoos is the devil. So like, she's not going to baptize her grandchildren. So like, and then Tila Tequila's like, don't you want them to live in the way of the Lord and not the devil and she's like, don't tell me about my grandchildren and like wouldn't let Tila Tequila baptize their children. And so now I'm trying to figure it out for my own son. We got to schedule his. So I'm going to try to get Tequila over to the house, and we're going to probably film it for the podcast. But so, like, you know what I mean? It's crazy the paths that these celebrities go that we like grow up with and see one way in one sense of the light. And then when actually it's like, here's the reality. Did social media, I guess social media changed that, because like it's one thing obviously to have like a character social media page, but like you can't have Paris Hilton on Instagram like, I don't know how to do that, like in 2023, right? It's, she would be destroyed every day by trolls and so she's got to be her genuine fucking self. And then in sense, the whole reality TV show falls apart, right? Mm-hmm. So I love seeing that now, and she's a DJ, right? She's like a bomb ass. She's a bomb ass club DJ. Right. Her and Shaq. Like Shaq's a DJ too, which is insane to me. That it's just like that man has like 1,800 businesses, $18 billion in the bank, and just DJs festivals on the weekend. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and K-Fed is a DJ, but we all know why he's a DJ and how he became a DJ, and it's Britney's name.
Jesus, K-Fed. So, who? Okay, I don't think the word, like, this is not a conversation that's happened, I don't think, in the last 5 years. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm going to the club and I'm going to see Kevin Federline, probably he's DJing. Who? Like Kevin Federline, the DJ? DJ K-Fed? Like, please tell me he hits a button and it goes, DJ K-Fed. You know what I mean? Like, please tell me that's his thing. I love the paths of celebrities. I mean, dude, it's just, and dude, the raunchiness of TV. I have actually another conversation scheduled with another buddy of mine. Have you watched MILF Manor?
No, I have wanted to though.
Okay, good. Yeah,
but I have not.
Get into that. It's probably on whatever. You can get it. I'll find it for you. You can watch it. Talk about the greatest situation ever. You've got 5 45 to 55-year-old women, most of them with fake tits and Botox, half of them with not, dating their sons who are 20 years old. And so they're trying to find love. And honestly, it's looking good for Disco Mommy. Disco Mommy is, I think she was in the finale. I haven't watched the whole thing yet to see who won, but she's in the finale with the boy that she's hooking up with. So I'm not sure how that relationship's currently going. They haven't aired the reunion yet. Are you a Love Island guy? Are you watching any of the Love Islands at all?
I have not, but I've been intrigued. I get into this hole where I watch a series and I just stick to that series, and then I start to branch out.
Yeah. What are you
so right now,
what are you watching now?
I'm watching Grey's.
Oh, Grey's. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
There's been nothing else but Grey's, and I'm just like, oh, great.
Have you? There's a. My sister was telling me there's a queer/lesbian version of The Ultimatum on Twitter now. Have you? Or on Netflix, not Twitter. Jesus Christ, on Netflix, The Ultimatum. It's like a gay version. Have you watched that yet?
No, I haven't. No.
Might want to get on that.
No. Yeah. Might as well. Might as well get on that. Yeah.
Do you prefer gay or straight love reality shows? Can you watch?
I don't mind them. Yeah. I just feel like if there was a gay couple in there, I would watch it more, because I just feel like there hasn't been enough. There's just hasn't been enough, and people think that there is enough, but it's not there.
Do you think the format that we have now, where it's like the show defines the relationship style? So obviously like Love Island Australia, all the couples are hetero, guy, girl, whatever, and great. But like some shows, they just send in whoever. And some shows it's all gay, some shows it's all lesbian, some shows it's all this. I think they need to just start sending in, send them loose. Just set it loose.
Just set up a Love Island, and like people will just do whatever
Yeah.
happens, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like just let it go. Just let it rip. I'm pretty sure a girl who was once into a guy suddenly finds herself in love with a girl. I'm just pretty sure a guy who was once curious and never tried it finally tries it and finds love. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just more interesting stories, not just like girl, boy, like you know what the
Right.
fuck is gonna happen.
Yeah. All right, dude. Let's wrap this up. Any last words? Anything you want to promote? Any social medias? Any messages? Anything that you want to get out to the people?
I honestly, the thing that I would promote is if you're into astrology, download that CoStar astrology app because that shit is popping.
CoStar
Um,
Astrology app. Got it. We'll link it in
yeah,
the. We'll link
I
it.
feel like that's a good way for like anyone who's with mental health or trying to find a center or some peace in their life. Um, Astrology can go a long way, and CoStar, which was founded by Channing Tatum, anything Channing Tatum does, I will follow. Um, and it's actually a great app. It's an
Channing.
actually great app.
I can't. I can't with Channing Tatum. I can't. I can't. I listen. What are we done with the Magic Mike movies now? There was one more. He came out of retirement. He did like a London stage show or something. Now it's done, right? We're done.
I think we are done. I haven't seen the movie yet. It is on Max, but I think we are done.
Oh, Max, Jesus, don't even get me started on that. You saw my tweet today. Friggin' Max, too. It's like, why would we? Why? 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 That's like Netflix going, okay, guys, listen, we've got Netflix, we've got to split it. We can either go net or we could go flicks. Okay. What do? We do movies, another word for movies, film, another word for movie, another movie, a flick, flicks. Flicks would make sense. We should keep flicks. We're going with net. And then you just see the word fucking net in big green red letters across your screen. And it's like, Max, dude? For what? For what? Hey. What does Max stand for? The reason we had the word Max to begin with was because for the last 5 years, HBO didn't know what the fuck they were doing when it came to streaming. Because we had HBO Go, we had HBO Max, and we had HBO Plus. And depending on how you had access to it, you used one or the other. And then boom, now we've just got HBO Max, and we can't just keep that name because, you know, what HBO stands for something, doesn't it? Like the home, what does HBO
Yeah, home
stand
box
for?
office.
Home box office. Home box office. Hey, does that make sense to anybody? Does the acronym HBO home box office make sense to anybody? No? All right, then we're going with Max. We're going to name him Max because MAX stands for what? Movies and videos? Well, it's 2023, babes. Download the astrology app that Sway did. It's in the link down below. Thank you guys for watching another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. My name's Levi McCurdy. It's been another one. Peace out, everybody. Happy Pride Month. We'll see you back next week. Peace.